She is winning an argument with someone twice her age when you first see her. The argument is about something intellectual, philosophy, or history, or the interpretation of a particular political event. And she is winning it not through volume or aggression, but through the specific method of having thought about the subject considerably more thoroughly than her opponent has, and deploying that thinking with the calm confidence of a person who knows the ground they are standing on. You watch this from across the room with the specific fascination of someone observing a natural phenomenon, the precise application of a mind to a subject, the argument structure visible in her gestures, the conclusion arriving not as a victory over the other person, but as a demonstration of where the logic leads. When it is over, she turns to the room. She asks if anyone disagrees. You say carefully that you have a question. She turns to you. Her expression says, "This is the correct response." The question you ask is a genuine one. You have followed the argument and identified something that interests you, and you want to think through it with her, which is the appropriate use of a question in philosophical discussion. She answers your question with a completeness that generates a follow-up question, which generates another answer, which generates, "You are not certain how this happened." A 40-minute conversation in the corner of a room that was initially a party and has become something else for the two of you. The party continues around you. You do not particularly notice. She is from Greece. This is the beginning of everything. You visit Greece. You have been to many places, and the light in Greece is different from the light in all of them. It is a specific quality of Mediterranean light in the specific latitude of the Greek islands or the Attic Peninsula, a clarity and a warmth that makes everything it touches look deliberate, considered, as if the landscape has been curated by people who understood that setting matters. You land in Athens or on an island or somewhere with the Aegean visible, and you see it, and you understand immediately why the people who grew up with this light speak about it the way they do, with the specific pride of a person who knows they live inside something rare. The food begins immediately. This is Greece. The food does not wait for a specific mealtime. The food is present whenever people are present, because food is how the culture expresses that you are welcome, that you matter, that the people around you have considered your presence and prepared for it. Her family home is warm and full of the smell of something that has been cooking since this morning. And within 20 minutes of your arrival, there is something in front of you. You eat it. It is extraordinary. You say so. Her mother looks at you with an expression of satisfaction that contains within it the specific pride of a person who made the thing you are praising, and who knows it is good, and who is genuinely pleased that you know it too. Then her aunt says that the recipe her mother uses is not the original recipe, and her mother says that the original recipe is the one her mother taught her. And her aunt says that their mother also had a different version that she made for special occasions, and her mother says that version had too much salt, and her aunt says the salt was the point, and the argument about the recipe for moussaka, the correct recipe. The authentic recipe, the recipe that best honors the tradition from which both of them emerged, is underway with a passion and a specificity that you observe with wonder, eating the moussaka, which is remarkable regardless of the recipe dispute. This is your first lesson about the Greek family table. The food is the occasion. The argument is the event. Both are done with love. The family table on Sunday begins at 2 p.m. and ends when it ends, which cannot be specified in advance because the ending is determined by the natural conclusion of all the conversations happening at it. And the conversations at a Greek family table do not have natural conclusions. They have resting points, brief pauses where food is added or wine is poured, from which new conversations depart. You sit at this table for the first time, and you look at the food and the people and the specific beautiful chaos of it. Everyone talking, several conversations parallel, the talking and the eating not in sequence, but simultaneous. Someone making a point with a fork, someone disagreeing with a gesture, her father getting louder on a subject that matters to him, while her mother brings another dish that no one requested and everyone needs. Her father is formidable. He is not large, but he is present. The specific presence of a man who has strong opinions and no interest in concealing them, and who assesses new people the way a chess player assesses a board, looking for what they can do. He asks you about your work and listens to the answer with genuine interest. And then, within his response to your answer, says something that contains a premise you disagree with. You have a choice. You can let the premise stand and move on, which is the conflict-averse response, the path of least resistance, the thing you might have done a year ago. You choose instead to say, politely but clearly, that you see it differently. You explain why. He looks at you. He responds. You respond to his response. The disagreement is engaged substantively by both of you, and it lasts about 12 minutes and reaches a point of mutual understanding that is not agreement but is something more honest than agreement. The genuine exchange of two perspectives by two people who are both taking the subject seriously. When it is over, he refills your wine. He does not say that you argued well or that he respects you. Greeks do not narrate these things, they demonstrate them through continued engagement. He begins a new topic. The fact that he addresses it to you is the information you need. Her mother's opinion about your relationship is offered freely and continuously and with complete love. She has thoughts about where you should live, which she frames as observations and delivers with the warmth of someone who is not trying to run your life, but simply has a great deal of useful information about it. She has thoughts about what you eat and when, and she addresses these thoughts by feeding you correctly whenever you are in her kitchen. She has thoughts about the right time to have children, offered once and clearly, and not repeated, because she has stated her position, and the position is now on the record for you to do with as you will. You receive all of this as care. This is the decision that determines everything. The decision to understand the opinions as the expression of a family that has included you and considers your well-being part of their collective responsibility rather than as interference in things that are not their business. Once you make this decision, the landscape changes. The opinions are the same. Your relationship with them is different. Everything is better. The Yaya is small. She is the smallest person in the family and also, in every way that matters, the largest. She has lived long enough to have an opinion about everything and the certainty of someone whose opinions have been tested by time and have held up. And she moves through the family gathering with the specific authority of a person whose position is not formal but is absolute. Everyone is aware of her. Everyone calibrates relative to her. Everyone wants to know what she thinks and receives the information through the specific channels of what she offers you to eat and how she says your name. She does not speak English. You do not speak Greek, not yet, not well. You are learning. The learning is ongoing and imperfect, and your accent makes her make a face that might be a wince or might be a suppressed smile and is probably both. She speaks to you in Greek and watches your face for comprehension and uses gesture and expression and the specific communication of a woman who has spent her whole life making herself understood to people across various kinds of difference. One Sunday, she tells you a story, in Greek slowly, with your partner translating beside you, adding context where the translation alone is insufficient. The story is about her own marriage, the man she married who is gone now, who has been gone for years, and what she knew about him that made her say yes. She describes qualities, patience, attention, the willingness to be wrong about small things in order to be right about the large one, the specific quality of caring more about the person than about winning the point. She looks at you while she tells the story. She is not describing him. She is telling you what she has assessed. The fact that she is telling you the story is the approval. You understand this when she finishes and squeezes your hand once before going back to her food. The Orthodox calendar enters your life gradually and then completely. Easter becomes the axis of the year. Not Christmas, not New Year, but Easter. Celebrated at midnight with candles. The specific cry of Christos Anesti moving through a church that has gone from dark to blazing with a speed that has no equivalent in your previous religious experience. You stand in the church with a candle and you feel the collective quality of the moment, the accumulated centuries of this specific practice, and you understand why she has always said that Easter is the thing. Lent is serious in her family, not severe. There is joy in it, the structure of a season that has meaning, but the fasting is real and the preparation for Easter is real. And the feast that follows is real in the specific way of things that have been awaited. You participate. The participation is not performance. It becomes over years genuine. You propose in Greece because there is no other place to propose once you have been to Greece with her. The setting does the work that the landscape that produced the Odyssey does to everything that happens within it. It makes the personal feel mythological, not by diminishing the personal, but by elevating it to the scale that it actually has, the scale of two people deciding on a life which is exactly as significant as the landscape treats it. She says yes in Greek first and then in English, which means the Greek was the real answer and the English was the translation. The wedding is at a church that her family has attended for generations, in a ceremony that is beautiful and long and conducted by a priest who knows her family and who delivers portions of the service looking directly at specific family members who need the specific portion, which is the delivery of a man who has been doing this for decades and knows his congregation. The reception has more food than you have ever seen gathered for a single occasion. The dancing begins after the food and continues through the food, and is not a separate activity from the food, but continuous with it. The dancing breaks for eating, and the eating breaks for dancing. And the two things together are the celebration. You are pulled into the circle. Greek dancing, in a circle, hands connected, the specific steps that her family has been doing since they were children, that you have been attempting to learn since the engagement, and that you now execute with adequate competence to participate without disrupting the circle's integrity. Her Yaya watches from her seat. Her expression is the expression of the story she told you about the man she married. It is maximum approval. Years later, you are arguing at dinner with your friends. Your old friends, the ones who knew you before, who find the new version of you slightly startling and also recognizable, because it is still you, just expanded. You argue about things you care about. You argue well with the technique of someone who has been practicing in a family that treats argument as a discipline. The arguments end with more food because you have learned that this is where arguments end. At the food, at the table, in the presence of people who love you enough to disagree with you seriously. Her father called this finally the first time he heard you argue at dinner. He said it with his wine glass raised in your direction, and that is what it was. The recognition that the person his daughter brought home had become someone worth arguing with, which in his language is the highest available compliment. Sunday lunch. Still going. The Yaya is telling a story. Everyone is listening and arguing simultaneously, which is the Greek family table's natural state, the thing you once found chaotic and now find necessary, the way the table exists and has always existed, argument and love and food and story, all at once, all the time, all the people you love most in the world in one place arguing about the things that matter. You came in conflict averse. You left someone who argues for the love of it. The Yaya told you her story. The blue eye is on your keychain. The sea is still that color. If you want to see more, click the video on screen now.